Good evening and welcome to the episode number 68 of Tetrakey TV, brought to you by me. My name's Rob Yates and we're about 30 minutes earlier than normal today, so my apologies if you don't get to watch this live. The reason why is very simple. My alarm went off at 3 o'clock this morning. I've flown to several cities today, had a whole bunch of meetings, delivered a keynote presentation at a conference. I've had some more meetings in Johannesburg, and to be honest, it's now 8:30 at night and I am exhausted, so I'm coming to you early, but I didn't want to shortchange you. And tonight what I really want to talk to you about is about what you can do to have a strategy to be wealthy forever. So many people want to make money, and yet so many people seem to go about it in a way that is almost destructive for themselves, because believe it or not, making money is a really easy thing to do with the right strategy in place. And so what I want to do is just talk to you really around a process, around a theme, around a story. And so if you want to be really truly wealthy, well, how could you start? And you can use farming or agriculture as an analogy for this. So if you were to imagine you were to, in your garden or in a small patch of land somewhere, you were to plant a whole series of sweet corn plants, or as they maybe will be called here in Africa, millies. And you were to plant those and watch them grow over the 6 months. And then you were to harvest them, and as opposed to eating them, you take all the little kernels off and you dry them and turn them into seed. You then replant them, and for every one sweet corn you're going to get hundreds and hundreds, maybe 300 or 400 of those little kernels that you can replant. So on your second round, you go and replant every single kernel as a plant, 300 or 400 times more in volume than what you did on the first lot. Next time round, you repeat the trick again, and suddenly within 2 to 3 rounds of doing that, you've got a massive farm producing sweet corns that you can sell, you can give away, you can eat, you can do whatever you please. And frankly, you'd be wealthy and well fed for the rest of your days on that. The problem is with most people is something inside them that tells them they have to eat now. And so most people who I end up working with get through the first stage of growing their sweet corns in their garden for 6 months or however long it might be. And they work hard, they look after them, they push hard, they work hard, they look after them, so on and so forth, water them, fertilize them. And at the end of 6 months, they believe that they need a treat. They all feel hungry, they feel like they have to eat something, they feel deprived. And so many people at this point in time gorge themselves on massive quantities. And then at the end, they're left with so little that all they can do is press repeat and get the same. And so it's interesting, the mismatch between dreams, aspirations and goals and people's actual behaviours. Because if your goal was to be super wealthy, where you just keep replanting the sweet corns over and over and over again, and within actually 18 months to 3 years, you'd be so wealthy you wouldn't know what to do with all the money that you're creating. But to do that, you have to put off the thing inside you which says, I have to take now, I have to have the gratification now, I have to have the money now. And actually understand the process and work with the process, because all really we've spoken about is compound interest. Now, there's 1,000,001 different ways in which you can go about doing this. But what I really want to ask you tonight and challenge you tonight is around, what are you doing to suppress that internal need for gratification, that hunger that says, I have to eat now, I have to have it now, I can't wait. it's interesting that people often comment to me on the car that I drive. You see, I drive a 10-year-old Toyota large SUV 4x4, and it goes really, really well. And people often say, well, for what you earn, why do you not have something fancier, like a top-of-the-range Range Rover or something like that? And the simple truth is that I'm not, while I'd love to have a car like that now, I understand the concept of compounded money and that re-sowing the harvest that I've just had in a more magnified way to have more, to reach the level of wealth that I want. And I'm perfectly willing to suppress the greed, the need inside all of us for the gratification, because I would recognise that within all the models, within 2 to 4 years, I'll have so much that I won't need to worry about that again going forwards. So what is it that you're going to do to suppress that need to spend now, to take now, to have now, as opposed to reinvesting those seeds back into the ground again to produce a even larger crop for you? Who are you going to get to hold you accountable for it, and what are you going to put in place? And so that really is the trick to being super wealthy. It's to earn, make profit, put all that profit back in again, and keep repeating that trick. And if you want to look at it in a way, most people who don't achieve the wealth spend 90% of what they've got and try and invest 10. What would happen if you were to spend 10% and reinvest 90? How much different would your world look if you could make that work? And the thing is that your world wouldn't have to look that much different in terms of day to day now for that long before actually you're so far ahead of the curve. You can have what you want, when you want it, how you want it, and have it straight away. So that's it from a tired Rob this evening in this episode of Tetrakey TV, episode number 68. So we're doing quite well with these. I'm off to bed. I've got another long day tomorrow, and it's time for some sleep. So be amazing for the next 24 hours, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, which will be Friday evening my time, for the next episode of Tetrakey TV. So stay well, stay awesome.